My brother disappeared over a decade ago. He was 34 when he left, an adult, free to go wherever he wanted. All he left behind was a short note. He said he needed time to look for something, but that he still loved us. Over the next 12 years, I only got 2 letters from him. Both said he was alive. But something deep in my gut always told me those letters weren't really from him. Then one night, long after midnight, I heard a knock at the door. My son was asleep upstairs, dead to the world. Whoever was knocking wasn't supposed to be here. I thought maybe it was a neighbor. I never imagined that when I opened the door, I'd see someone who looked so much like my father that my heart nearly stopped. High cheekbones, sandy brown hair, eyes that looked right through me. He smiled faintly. Sorry, it's been so long. My hands shot up to his face before my brain could catch up. It was him, my brother, the man I had buried in my memories, standing there, alive. But he wasn't the same. He used to be round-faced, messy, the kind of guy you'd never guess was a cop. Now he looked like one of those sharp detectives from old crime dramas, slim, serious, clean-cut. His blue shirt matched his eyes, but there were bruises climbing up his arms when I rolled his sleeve back. Fresh ones, scars to deep ones, like something had clawed at him. What happened to you? I whispered. These look new. I'm fine, he said, but he couldn't even stand straight. He nearly collapsed, so I took his arm and helped him upstairs into the spare room. His hands trembled, his voice cracked, and the first few buttons of his shirt were undone, showing a few odd necklaces resting against his chest. He had earrings now too small, black studs. The brother I knew would have never worn jewelry. I'm sorry, he murmured again, his fingers gripping together like he was praying. Carson was worried about you, Charlie. It felt strange saying his name again. I wanted to be angry, but seeing him like this made it impossible. He gave me a tired smile, my father's smile, and I felt my throat tighten. He looked older, not just from time, but from something heavy, something I couldn't see. I wish I had a good reason, he said softly. How long has it been here? I think I lost track of time. Here, time works the same everywhere. It's been 12 years. He smirked. You're a bad liar. I smacked him on the shoulder, an old habit. You need rest. You'll get the story after you've slept. He laughed quietly, the same quiet chuckle from years ago. Then he stood up. Let me show you what I learned while I was gone. I frowned, but he pulled a folded piece of paper from his pocket and told me to tear it up. I humored him, shredded it into tiny pieces, and watched as he drew a perfect chalk circle on the dresser, smoother than anything a normal hand could make. He whispered something, a single word that didn't sound like any language I'd ever heard, and the pieces of paper began to move. One by one, they slid together until the page was whole again. I froze. That's impossible. It's a trick, right? Pick something else. Damage it. It'll fix it. I didn't know whether to laugh or call an exorcist, but there was a family photo nearby, one of our parents. I tore it clean down the middle and placed it inside the chalk circle. He changed a few symbols, spoke another word, and the photo sealed itself. Edges smooth as if it had never been ripped. My legs almost gave out. Charlie, what are you? He just smiled. Something close to a wizard, I guess. I left him to rest after that. I went downstairs, grabbed 2 beers, one for me, one for him. He refused his. When I came back up, he asked, "Remember the first case I ever worked on?" I nodded. Of course I did. It was the one that haunted him the most. The girls who went missing. The strange photographs that kept showing up in police stations. I brought in a guy who said he could talk to the dead, Charlie said. Turned out, he actually could. He was a necromancer. He said it like it was nothing, like telling me he'd changed jobs. I just stared. He continued. Something happened in that case. He disappeared. I went looking for him. Met someone else, the one who trained him. That's when I learned magic. He wanted me to become a necromancer too, but I wasn't built for it. My mind couldn't keep up. Necromancers. Magic. My brother. I asked where he went, because he spoke like he'd been somewhere else entirely. Another world. Another universe. He looked away and said, "You know the multiverse theory." I didn't answer. I just stood up, left the room, and walked around the house for 10 minutes trying to breathe. When I came back, he was half asleep sitting on the bed. "You're a bad liar," he mumbled when I told him I was fine. Maybe I was, because I wasn't fine. My brother had come back from somewhere that wasn't Earth, and all I could do was try to pretend this was normal. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the living room, turning everything I'd just heard over and over in my head. My brother, a man who'd once spent his life chasing criminals, had come back talking about necromancers and other worlds. Hours must pass before I finally decided to check on him. When I got to his room, he was out cold, breathing deep, bruises still dark across his arms. I pulled the blanket over him and stepped out quietly. That's when I heard movement down the hallway. Carson had just come out of the bathroom, rubbing his eyes. "Why are you awake?" he mumbled. I should have been asleep long ago. I had work in the morning, but there was no point lying to him. I went into his room and closed the door behind me. "Your uncle's back," I said softly. His eyes snapped open. "Is he okay?" Yes and no. Physically, maybe. Mentally, I'm not sure. He's sleeping right now. "Are you okay?" I smiled without meaning to. "Yeah, buddy. I'm fine." For a moment, everything felt normal again, like we were just a regular family. Then the world changed. A low rumble rolled through the house, followed by a violent shake that made the walls groan. We didn't live anywhere near fault lines. Carson and I looked at each other, his face pale. What was that? A crash. Before I could answer, a red light began to seep through the cracks around the door. The air turned cold wrong. I opened the door and froze. It wasn't our hallway anymore. It was a forest of black thorns under a red sky. The ground was stone, cracked and covered in strange roots that pulsed like veins. "What the hell?" Carson whispered. I slammed the door shut, opened it again, but the nightmare stayed. Vines crept toward us, wrapping around the doorframe, holding it open like they wanted us to look. A flash of metal. Carson swung down with a sword, one of the fake ones he collected from conventions. It cracked on impact. "I got it at a con," he muttered, tossing the broken blade aside. He dug under his bed, pulling out a long box, and drew a real katana, one that glimmered faintly in the red light. I blinked. "That's where your overtime money went, huh?" He didn't answer. He just cut at the vines again, this time slicing clean through, but they grew back almost instantly. "What do we do?" he asked. I stared into that blood-red forest and tried not to lose it. "You're taking this way to Conley." He shrugged. "Either it's a dream, or it's real, and you already knew something about it. Uncle Charlie shows up, and suddenly magic's real. Feels connected." He wasn't wrong. But before I could answer, a noise crawled out from under his bed. A rasp, like something breathing through broken glass. Then a hand. Thin, long, jointed wrong. Claws like knives. It pulled itself out, a figure made of black thorns and tangled shadows. Teeth gleaming white through the cracks. "Amuse me," it hissed, its voice like a spider scraping across metal. "Run." I didn't need to be told twice. I grabbed Carson's arm, and we bolted through the open door into the red world. Branches tore at my skin as we ran. The ground dropped out beneath us, sending us sliding down a slope filled with bones. Human, animal, I didn't know. When we stopped, I turned to Carson. He was shaken, but okay. "Give me the sword." He pulled it back. "I've got more experience. You can teach me." He shook his head, jaw set. "Trust me, Dad." There wasn't time to argue. The creature appeared above us, bending its neck to fit through the trees. Laughter like rattling teeth. "It'll tear you apart piece by piece," it shrieked, diving down. I swung wildly with a jagged bone from the pile beside us. Its claws ripped through my shirt, cutting deep, but I struck back, jamming the bone into the cracks between its thorns. It screamed, staggering away, but only for a second. Carson was behind me, sword ready. "What are you?" he shouted. The thing's mouth split open, rows of teeth shifting. "I am what your precious monster hunter Moore failed to destroy. I was going to claim your world. But now he'll start with his family." Monster Hunter Moore. "Charlie." The words hit like ice. "This is between you and him," I yelled. "Leave my son out of it." Vines shot up, wrapping my legs, dragging me off my feet. The thorns bit into my skin as the creature loomed closer. It opened its mouth, a pit of pure darkness. I couldn't move, couldn't even scream. I thought this was it. Then the sky cracked. A thunderous blow struck the creature, blasting it backward into shards of black dust. I fell to the ground, gasping for air. Standing where the monster had been my brother. Only not the brother I remembered. His arms were black as void, electricity crawling up his veins. His eyes burned with light. He raised a fist, and when it came down, the ground itself split open. The red sky shattered like glass, and suddenly we were back in our backyard, under the first pale light of dawn. The creature wasn't dead, but it was crawling away broken. Charlie walked up to it slowly, stepped on its back, and spoke with a calm that chilled me. "If you ever come near my family again, it'll bring the power of the first night down on your head." The creature whimpered and vanished into shadow. Charlie's shoulders dropped. The rage faded, leaving only exhaustion. "I'm sorry," he said, turning to us. "The barrier must have weakened. This is my fault." Before I could respond, something massive stepped out from behind him, a towering wolf, black fur glinting silver, a white mask painted with a single eye. I screamed. "I'm not ashamed to admit it." "Don't worry," Charlie said. "He's shy." The wolf Val tilted its head and then disappeared. A second later, it reappeared, smaller, more human-shaped, soft-spoken. He offered me a bottle of thick blue liquid. I hesitated, then rubbed it over my cuts. They closed instantly. Carson's eyes were wide, filled with wonder. He sat beside Val, asking a million questions. Charlie leaned against the house, watching us with a tired smile. "Why didn't you kill that thing?" I asked quietly. "I wanted it to spread the story," he said. "After tonight, no other creature will dare come near you." He wasn't the same anymore. Not even close. But when he looked at me, I still saw my brother. I sighed. "The guy you went chasing after, the necromancer, he better be really worth it." He groaned. "Please don't start." Carson burst out laughing. "Uncle Charlie's in love with a necromancer." Charlie turned bright red. "I'm so stupid," he muttered. For the first time that night, I laughed. Real laughter. He stayed until the sun was fully up. Then he called out to Val, who shifted back into his wolf form. "He'll come back soon," Charlie promised. "He'll keep in touch this time." Carson nodded eagerly. "Bring a Mothman next time." Charlie rolled his eyes, but smiled. "We'll see." And just like that, they were gone, a man and his monster fading into the morning light. I stood there for a long time, bleeding through my torn shirt, wondering if any of it was real. But deep down, I knew. My brother had gone somewhere beyond this world, and whatever had brought back with him. It wasn't just magic. It was a war, and it had just begun.